hear me. Okay. So how can we do that? So today it was Mark Gallardo that was presenting. So Mark, you can present.
Hello.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark, I think that you can share up the presentation. Could you try it?
I can share a camera web, but
Okay.
I don't think I can share a.
You can share a presentation, Mark.
Yes. And how do I do that?
If you now in the middle, I think that you have the option to share a presentation. Is that possible?
Not at the moment. I only see a video to show my cam.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Oh.
No. Wait.
Now.
Now.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Got it. Wait a second. Jordi Espriu is on class? No Jordi Espriu. Okay. Pau Fiol? Okay. Marc. Francisco Guerrero. Oh, Jordi Espriu is in. But where is your... Oh, Jordi Espriu, okay. Okay. Francisco Guerrero. Okay. Nuria. Okay. Santiago. Where is Santiago? Okay. Pau Pedra. Okay. Miquel. Ah, yeah. Miquel Quintana, tú. Okay. David Rami. Okay, also. Okay, very good. Gerard. And Oscar. Oscar, where is Oscar? Oh, Oscar. Okay. Guillem. Oriol. Where is Oriol? No, Oriol no. And Bernat. No Bernat. Okay. And David Gomez. Where is David Gomez? David Gomez. Okay, perfect. Yeah, okay, perfect. Mark.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah, right? Okay, perfect. Everybody can hear Mark? Nice. Okay, just one thing. In the top bar, I think that you can you have some kind of emojis. Instead of saying everybody yes, maybe you can, yeah, that's it. Very good, Victor. Maybe you can just put okay, accept, or something like that. Well, okay. Okay. Do. Mark, you can just share the presentation. No need to share your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And now you choose the presentation itself. Yeah. I mean, no, sorry. Okay. Okay, that's it. That's it. Very good.
Um,
I can maybe, yeah, you can put it in full screen. Is it possible?
I don't think.
Well, oh yeah. Let me see. Oh, let me change that. Oh,
So
no. Okay. Is that maybe too big? Let me
maybe if
check.
I just put my screen
Oh,
like this.
okay. Is there any way to see it in full screen or something?
So do everyone see this?
Oh, that's nice.
What?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
So everyone hears me correctly because my microphone is a bit. Yeah, I can. Vale, okay, I can speak louder. Yes. This much is fine. Yes, okay. Very well.
Very good, Mark. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, just a second. I need my notes here. Dun, 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 dun. Wait a second.
You
Wait.
see only the presentation, right? You know that see the square, this square?
I see this square around. Just
Ah,
put somewhere the square. No
okay.
worries.
Let's put it like here.
So okay. So we got it, I think, and it was quite fast actually. So,
Okay.
uh, uh, so RT is balancing. Mark. Okay, Mark, you can start with it.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I'm Marc Gallardo, and today I'm gonna do a presentation about RTS balancing.
Very good.
So first, the question of what is balancing. So balancing refers to adjusting the rules and stats for different elements of a game in order to, for example, avoid the abuse of a very strong unit. So especially in RTS and in strategy games in general, balancing is extremely important because the core of these games are to do strategy and tactics. So the player doesn't want to win because the units are overpowered, but because they were better in directing their troops and managing their resources during the game. So in this presentation, I'm going to focus in different points of balancing.
Very good.
First, I'm going to talk about unique balancing and resource systems because it's 2 points that are extremely important to for game. Then I'm going to talk just a little bit about artificial intelligence, not the programming part of it, but the way that artificial intelligence should work. And then map design, we need a map where the player can toy with it, and then some personal conclusions on the results.
Okay, very good.
So first, unit balancing. So arguably, unit balancing is one of the most important aspects of an RTS game, and the interactions between units in the battlefield is what makes the game feel like the strategies you use and develop during the game have paid off. So in RTS, the player has a wide array of possible options when it comes to troop creation. So set troops must have a strength, a value. This means that there have to be units that are better than others in doing a specific task or job. So nevertheless, they must also have some kind of weakness that the other player can exploit. And more often than not, that mix of weakness and strength of the units is what makes the game truly fun, and that's what we are aiming to create.
Which are those games, by the way?
Sorry?
Which are those games that you are showing in the screenshots?
The right one,
Yeah.
I believe is some Command and Conquers from
Okay.
the saga,
And the left one?
and the left one is a new game that's about to be in the market, I believe. They
Okay.
are generic photos of units that it's basically to show there are no of importance right now.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So first and foremost, I'm going to because balancing is difficult, and I'm going to explain it the easiest way possible.
Okay.
So the way I'm going to explain it is using the zero sum method. Uh, This method can be used not just in video games, but it can be used in board games or in any game in general. And
Mm.
this theory explains that no matter what choices or decisions both players take, the sum of the outcome between positive or negative results always equals to zero. So as you can see in the right table, this is an example of rock, paper, and scissors, the game.
Okay.
I think everyone knows how to play it.
Yeah.
So basically, if you take the table, in the first column, you have 0, +1, and -1 that results in a 0. So the total balance is 0. That happens in the 3 columns.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this means that both players have the same power, and it all falls to wit and tactics to decide the winner. This method, of course, can be used to balance units in an RTS, but the more units, the more variables you add, like health, cost, range, and you add, for example, another type of damage,
Mm.
just adds more difficult to it. So explaining all of the formulas that are used when balancing those units is so complicated to explain in a presentation. So I just put here the example with rock, paper, and scissors. This is further explained in the in the GitHub. In the
Okay.
web, you can find a more uh, in-depth explanation of this. So now we are going to jump into the resource system. So we know that a resource system is a simple way that the player can use a currency to purchase units, build constructions, and research technology, for example. So that currency can be anything, can be wood, food, population, maybe gold, stone. And to start in the resource system, we are going to talk about how to expend that currency. There are two principal ways to spend the currency. The continuous way, where you can buy different things and the the cost is will be subtracted continuously until the construction is finished or as they are finished if they are there are no more materials. And then the second option is the it's called discrete, That is that when you buy a Ranger, for example, the cost is instantly subtracted the moment you buy it. Personally, I recommend the second method because it's far easier to implement and is what is more commonly used in these games. Sorry. Then about how to gather these resources, there are also two basic types that are the active gathering. That is, for example, if you need wood, you will need a worker, a type of unit that goes to a forest to take that wood and then returns to put it in a storage building. And then there is the passive, that is where you find a gold mine and you just build a building on top of it and it produces gold indefinitely. So the active method is finite. You could have ended up without any wood in the forest because you take it off, but the passive method just gives you gold indefinitely. So this is one thing to take into account when making your game.
Okay.
So in RTS, one of the essential aspects is having an economy system of some sort of that players must have a deep understanding of said system in order to find possible exploits to leverage the advantage to their side. And the absolute core of an RTS is not having hordes of units, having a massive battle. It's more closely related to the acquisition and expenditure of what we call value. So value is just the pure definition for resources. Not just the resource that any game uses, such as minerals or food, as I said before, but anything that you can purchase, trade, or upgrade with it. So in the end, both players have
Mm.
the power to directly interfere with his enemy's economy. For example, at any point of the game, you can send troops to sabotage or destroy the collectors of the enemy. This means that players can choose to lose part of that income into that value in the form
Mm-hmm.
of buildings or troops to make the enemy have less value of their own. So now, where you put these resources will be explained down below in the map topic. So now we are
Okay.
going to jump into the next topic. So
Oh,
artificial intelligence uh, is just how the enemy, in most cases, work. So the artificial intelligence must fit the game's intended experience. A good, I'm going to refer to artificial intelligence as AI for now. So a good AI is not only the one that can beat the player, it's the one that offers interesting gameplay situations and complex decision making. The complexity of the AI within any game is directly proportional on how you want the machine to feel. So in this section, we will go through some main points that you can apply to your game so that your AI feels more realistic or challenging. I've put here three different methods. So the first method is to just have the enemies have more HP and or damage. Just by making the enemy units have more damage or more HP, it makes the player think that they are more intelligent than they actually are. So this sensation is achieved because the player feels challenged when facing tougher enemies. Therefore, he needs to build and think strategies that can work against units that have more HP. This process where the player thinks for a different strategy is what
mm-hmm.
makes him think that the AI is harder to deal with. That is what we want. So as we can see in the image, this is from Halo. They did a experiment where the person that claimed that the AI was very intelligent jumped from a mere 8% to a 43% when the HP of the monsters was augmented, and the damage was also augmented. So just by changing the damage and the health, you get a more challenging AI without changing anything in their behavior. The second method is making the AI predictable in the good sense. You want to encourage the players to develop and ideate plans that, when executed successfully, is satisfying to observe the results. So it wouldn't be the same if the same plan only worked half of the time. But you have to be careful with this, because if you make the AI too predictable or use always the same pattern, the game will be repetitive, and the second time you play, you will automatically win. So
Okay.
this is when the point 3 comes into play, that you have to make the AI react to the player's actions. For example, if the machine notices that the player is focusing on getting a superior map control, then the AI should fight for control too. You have to make the AI constantly trying to sabotage and get an edge over the player. So it shouldn't blindly follow a programmed will order and stick it to it no matter what, is what we talked about. You can have the AI do the same thing always without taking into account what the player is doing. Sorry.
Okay.
Now we're going to jump to the map design.
Okay.
This photograph is from StarCraft 2, and I have based this research of the map design on StarCraft 2.
Okay.
So in StarCraft 2, unique balancing is not a topic that develops touch with frequency. So what they focus on is designing maps that counter the factions themselves. What this means is that the developers use the map's layout and design it to counter the inherent strengths of a certain faction. For example, in StarCraft 2, every main base needs a defensive ramp to counter the Zerg's mobility. It's a type of faction in StarCraft.
Okay.
So the different points that we are going to talk about map design are choke points, openness, resources, starting points, base location, and maps.
Okay. Okay.
So first and foremost, choke points are essential when designing a map, because it creates a point of contention for both players that creates a position that is significantly easier to defend from one position. That creates conflict. We want to force the player to have to fight for those positions in the map. Then we have openness. The openness of a map is basically the shape of the overall region where the match is going to take place. This also determines how the zones of the map relate to each other, establishing at the same time how easy or hard will be to defend different zones.
Excuse me, Mark. Just
Yeah.
one question. That map is intended for how many players?
For 2,
Only 2 players?
yes.
Okay.
Then we have resources. So in this section, you should decide how resources are going to be split in the map. It's important that you place them in places where there will be contention or a fight for resources. For example, we talked about choke points before. So you can have, for example, a gold mine in a choke point, and that will create a conflict.
Okay.
The other option for resources, as in this map can show, to just put the same resources equidistant to both players. So this way, both players have the same resources, and then it all comes again to tactics and the strategy the player follows to win the match.
Okay.
Then we have the starting points and the base location. This needs to be well defined because it's where the players will start on the map. So in the map in the screen, you can see that the starting locations are, let's say, right top and left bottom. So this needs to be well defined because it's where the players start on the map, and it's extremely important that the bases are not close to each other. You want them to grow before they can fight. Then we have a very important point that is map symmetry. Map symmetry is the easy way to create a map that, let's say, is perfectly balanced because both factions have the same resources at the same distance, and the terrain is equal for both sides. So as you can see in the image, the map is symmetrical. That's really
Okay.
good. So this is a fine way to know how to put the resources, the building, the choke points. It's just do half a map and then mirror it.
Okay.
This, of course, if your game is not a 1v1 situation, this changes. And this is further explained in the web. But I decided not to explain it here because the 1v1 web is mostly used. So I just explain it. And then I have my personal thoughts and the conclusion of the further research. So first of all, I have to say that the methods that I explained here and that are on my website are not definitive. They are meant to using them as a guideline. And I'm sure that there are some aspects left unexplained, but while researching this topic, I wanted to make sure that the main points of balancing will be explained in a simple yet good way for you to understand.
Okay.
So this thing was very interesting for me to research about because I have played some RTS games, but I'm not what you will call a fanatic of the genre. So I know how do they work, but that's pretty much it. Almost everything I learned while doing this research was new to me. So I learned a whole bunch of things. And that's basically it for my presentation. Now, if you have any questions or that, ask them, I suppose, for the chat room.
Okay.
Or is that it?
Okay.
As
Thank you very much, Mark, for
you're
the
welcome.
presentation.
Yep.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, Turmo.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we can
I don't know if they
change
have an easiest method. Okay.
to. Mm, oh, yeah. Yeah, it would be nice that you raise your hands if you have any question.
Ah, yeah,
I
that's
I have a question.
There is an option on the top that is raise your hand
Can,
to ask
can I ask a
questions.
question?
Guillem, you
Yes.
can speak. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering, when you were talking about the map symmetry, I was just curious. Would you say it's better to just go for a symmetrical map and have perfect balance, or don't you think that maybe going for an asymmetrical map would be more interesting for the game? Like having like different strategies depending on which side of the map you got. I don't know if you understood the question.
okay. So
Good
it all
question.
okay. It all falls in what you want to do, what you want your game to be. If your game is a 1v1, the easy way, as I said before, for balance is to have a symmetric map. You can also do an asymmetrical map. In fact, in the web, there's a video on YouTube that explains very good the symmetrical design, how to do it, more or less. So you can check it. The video is in the link that I passed, so you can check it. So yeah, it falls to what you want to do with your game. If it's a 1v1 situation, I mean, do a symmetric map. It's easier for you to do, and you don't have to think about where do you put the resources, or if there's one side that is far much better than the other. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? Raise your hands. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Okay, Mark, a bit of review about the presentation.
Yes.
I was expecting more information because I saw in the GitHub in the research project that it was quite complete with a lot of information and videos and everything. But then on the presentation, it was good the points that you mentioned, but you didn't get really deep into those points. I mean, most of the slides were just some image, and yeah, you gave the explanation, but it would have been nice to have some more text, some more detail, maybe some video. I feel it could have been more information in the slides and in the presentation itself, because you got that information, and at the end the slides were pretty simple and basic. Well, yeah, just that.
I mean, I could have talked here for hours about all the information, but I didn't want to do a presentation about that was boring. Meaning, if I just put information.
Yeah, but I understand. But for example, unit balancing, you just show two images of two games that actually didn't illustrate much about balancing, and you also show the zero sum method with the rock paper scissors image, and that's it. It would have been great to see more information, like some tables, some comparison between games. I think that information in the slides could have been extended quite a lot, but
Well, yeah, I see why you say that.
I don't know what the other people think about it. Do you have some comments? After seeing this presentation, do you feel you can balance your RTS game?
Well, I mean, this presentation is intended to be a complement to the website, so
Yeah.
take that.
Yeah, I understand that. But it would have been good to have more information here, because you got that information. That's the point.
Yeah.
You got that information, but it's not reflected in the presentation. Keep in mind that if someone only sees the presentation, will think, oh, that's not much information about RTS balancing. You neither share a link, you neither said that there was more information on other places. Keep in mind that maybe some people can see that information, but not the web page. So it would have been good to have those references at least, or yeah, more information. Well, in any case, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, Victor, sorry. Yeah, he said there was a video. Yeah, we can maybe clap with the states. There is, okay, claps, yeah? Oh, very good. The people that is not clapping, does it mean that they are not here, that they already leave? Could be. Could be. Okay. Oh, someone raise hands. Aitor, you can speak now. Something to say? Aitor?
Okay.
Nothing to say, Aitor? Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay. Okay, Mark. So next presentation for today is Quest Manager, right? Who is doing Quest Manager? Guillem, send you send me the link. Wait. Mark, I'm moving you to the participants. Guillem, you can speak now, Guillem.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, I think.
Okay.
You didn't send me the link, could be?
Oh yeah. Which link am I supposed to send you? The
GitHub
request?
link.
Okay. Can I just?
Yeah,
put
send me the link, please.
Okay.
Please, Guillem, send me the link in campus, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. There you go.
Okay, so let's see. Quest Manager. Okay. Quest Manager. Okay, perfect. I got it. Okay, you share your photo in the project. Is that right?
I'm sure. Yes.
Okay.
Am I not supposed to do that?
Yeah, it's okay. No, yeah, okay. Okay, to-dos. Wow, we have a lot of information here. And you created a handout. And okay, and you got the presentation. Okay, how can we do that? First, you can present. Well, okay. You can start maybe sharing the presentation or just sharing a screen and presenting, right? and whatever you want. And then, yeah, and then we can see the project with the to-dos. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, because I didn't know exactly how I was supposed to do this now that it's online and it's since I'm the first call. Well, I'm just gonna open it.
Whatever you do. We can. Okay, just a second. Now you are seeing the program with the different tabs on it, but if I
Yes.
do that, now you see it in full screen. Is that right, everybody? Okay, so now full screen. Is that better, maybe? Or better this way?
I can just like.
Okay,
like-
someone raise hand. Who raise hand? Where is it? Wait. Who raise hand? Okay, never mind. Wait a second, Guillem.
Okay. Can you see?
What do you prefer? See it like this or full screen? What do you prefer?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking everybody.
Oh, because I can tell the difference.
Can you hear me? Full screen? Okay, so Guillem,
Yes.
do you prefer this way?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, let's do it this way, and then we will see the project. Yeah.
So I just present and then we go to the project, right?
Yeah, that's it. But by the way, just one detail for everybody. Okay, it's a research project, but you don't need to put on the first slide research project. I mean, you should put the title of your research project.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put that.
Okay.
That was
Okay,
a-
just keep that in mind. Imagine that at some point in the future you are presenting in front of thousands of people in the GDC or some big conference. You're not gonna do it like this, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I think I've written so many times Quest Manager that I ended up like hating the concept, so I avoided it on accident.
Okay, anyway, it should be written here. Okay, you can start, Guillem. Let's go.
Okay, well, I'm Guillem, as you all know, and this is my research project about the Quest Manager. So I'm gonna be talking about. I'm gonna start, even though I have a code-based research project. I thought it was necessary to start talking about a bit more like the theoretical part before getting onto the to-dos.
Okay.
So I thought it would be interesting to talk about, since it's a quest manager system, the quest variations, and an event system that is data driven, and also the most important part, and that's what my research is all about: how do we implement an actual quest manager? Okay, so some people may ask themselves, why do we need a quest manager? Like maybe you've had this great idea about some game, you want to make a huge RTS with 40 units, 50 buildings. You also want to make it like so you can fight 1v1 and everything, but you just realize that it's just way too out of scope for your project. So that's where quest comes in, since you are definitely looking for some simple mechanic that engages the player and that basically makes your game fun. And one curious thing about quests is that they are terribly underestimated, because most people don't realize that there's not many games that actually don't have any kind of quest, because that's kind of the beauty of quests, that they come in many forms. Some might be more visual, like a lot of games have the typical missions log, or just a quest book or something like that you just go and check quests, or it just kind of guides you through the narrative of the game. But some others make it a little bit more subtle. For example, most platformers, you wouldn't think them as having quests, but if we looked at them, they actually are just you're just passing levels to go to a higher area or something like that, and you're doing mini quests on the way, side quests like picking up coins, killing monsters. So quests are everywhere, and they should definitely not be underestimated, because there's really lots of people that I don't have the links, but I actually saw like a lot of people saying that quests are like boring and they're just always the same kind of quests. So I guess I'm here to say no to that, and I strongly disagree with that. Excuse me. Okay, so what are some elements that we must take into account when designing our quest manager? Because during our brainstorming process, we have to think how are we gonna implement our quest manager. Because as I said, there are so many ways of implementing quests on your game that you really need to have your ideas straightforward from the beginning and have a clear plan. So I listed some of the elements. I think they're like the key elements about what your quest manager system should consider. The first of them is simplicity. Simplicity refers to the logic of the quest, but also with how many systems is the quest system going to interact with. And that is something I'm going to mention a lot, because the quest manager itself, it's a really simple system. The beauty of this is that it's really flexible to work with and interact with a lot of other systems. So you have to decide if you want, for example, to have your quest system interact with a dialogue system. Maybe have an event system. Some of the quests you might have to interact with some NPCs, some kind of AI, and the most basic ones like the game world itself, like having just to collect coins is actually interacting with the game world and stuff like that. So that's like something that you should definitely be clear about what kind of quest you want with that. Sorry. After that, we have linearity, that refers to the narrative that your quests take. They can either be a linear quest that just kind of guides the player in one way, and it's not 100% like that. There's always in betweens, but that's the idea. For example, if you wanted a game that you don't want the player to just go around and miss the whole plot and just lose the story itself, but you also want him to feel in control. So that's when it comes in deciding how much linearity you want in your quest system. maybe you just don't want any. There are some games that they just don't need that. They have multiple endings, and that's another way to do it. The third element is the capacity, and that's just the amount of quests you want. There are some games that have an astronomical amount of quests, and that's what makes them. It's one of the game pillars of those games, because they target the achievers, those kind of players that they just love collecting simple badges and getting achievements and stuff like that. So they have so many quests. But some other games just have simple achievements that you just complete once in a while to add some spice to their game. Then we have another really important aspect, and it's the how are your quests going to be generated? And that can, well, there's many ways, but I just divided it by either being randomly generated, or if they are predefined by you, the designer. And that takes me to the second and to the next and last point, and it's modularity. Modularity.
Excuse me, Guillem.
Yes.
Can you give us some example of random quest generation?
I was about to explain it here in modularity.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, sure. Please.
Yeah, that's why I placed it this way, so I could explain it here. Because modularity, it refers to how we group quests. And there's also another division here. We divide them by grouped and unique. And the group one is because we can actually label quests and divide them by different groups. That's why it's called groups, because a lot of quests have similar behaviors, and they allow us to do that. So we just have to code one simple template for that behavior, and then we just copy it. And it is this exact type of quest, that actually allow us to do the random generation that I was talking about earlier. Like, for example, if I wanted the game to just feel like really random, maybe a game about evolution or something, I could just make some quests about gathering, about killing, about escorting your troop and stuff. But maybe I don't want every game to feel the same, so I could just have the template done of that kind of quests and have my game randomly generate those quests. And when I referred before, I want to specify that random generation can also refer to some quests that may appear at some locations, like random, like maybe some special, but that would be more like the next part of the modularity, that is the unique quest. The unique quests are usually used for a more narrative decision, since you're only gonna use them once usually. That's why they are unique. So it would be like a waste of time to just program 150 different unique quests for one stage, for example. Even though you can do that if that's what you want for your game. But yeah, they are. We tend to use more the group ones because they allow us to just go so much farther than the unique ones, because those are mechanic ones. The other ones are more automatic. Okay. So after this kind of short introduction to the quests, I wanted to talk about actually implementing the quest system. After all I said, implementing a quest system might sound like a pain in the ass, excuse my expression, but it might sound like a really tough and just something you have to put hours and hours of code. But the truth is that its basis structure it's kind of simple. You can see here, and that you will see the code because the first to do is about really understanding this structure here. That the quest manager itself only manages an XML document where we're gonna take all the info for the quests and the list of quests to divide them when they're loaded, active, or finished. It also manages an object, the quest, that has like different values, different info that depending on what we've talked earlier, you might use one, you might use some, or you might not, or you might have to add even more. These are just some simple examples of the context that I.
Excuse me, Guillem.
Yes.
Did you design it? I mean, did you, it's your design, your class design and your manager design?
What do you mean by that? Your manager design?
I mean, you decided what to put in here, or you get some reference from somewhere how to create a quest class, or you just design it from
No,
yourself?
I followed a video.
Okay, okay.
But I kind of like I got inspired because it wasn't like it was like for another platform.
Okay.
So it wasn't exactly the same way that we were doing it. So I just kind of took notes and.
Okay, I mean, Guillem, how you decide to, for example, in the quest class, list the keep the ID, the trigger, the reward, the type requisites. Yeah, it was.
Yes, that there was a really helpful video
Okay.
about I forgot to put it in the presentation, but she has like two videos, maybe like 20-25 minutes each, but I swear it's like nothing because she explains herself so well. And
Okay.
the first one was all about the theoretical part. I mean, I have to be honest. At first, I thought that my research would be only practical, but after listening to her, I thought that I had to implement theory to my research because she made me realize that it was really important to understand that in order to do the quest system.
Okay.
And those are the items that I included are some of the ideas she suggested as the info that you might want for a quest. But she mentioned like others. I think that um, some of them I even came up with myself. But yes, it was inspired because I think
Okay.
she was doing it for Game Maker or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll
Yeah,
go on.
continue.
And oh yes, one last thing before getting onto the to-dos. I have
Uh,
mentioned
Excuse
that
me, Guillem. There is a question, I think, from Albert Espinosa. Wait a second. Albert? Albert Espinosa,
he's right.
you raise your hand.
No, he said no.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
Okay. I did it
By
by
mistake.
mistake. Okay. Very good.
No problem.
Very good. You can continue with it.
Okay, so as I was saying, I talked a lot about the quest system having to interact with lots of different systems, but I do want to mention that for this project, because I think it was kind of my fault that I dig a bit too far on the theory, not so much on the practical part. But I did not implement like many systems as an example. Actually, I usually for those of you who don't know, what usually comes with the quest manager, they're like brother and sister or siblings. It's an event system, because since the quest manager is supposed to deal with so many different event types, like we've talked about the interacting with the world, interacting with a dialogue, and so much more. It needs something to transfer all of that info to the quest manager itself. But in this case, I just chose to do it in a more simple and fast way. I hope that maybe for a future version, I can make it a little bit better for those who want to use this quest manager.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So the to-dos. First of all, I just wanted to mention the environment I chose. It's kind of a simple but very visual game that I had going around and I used, where you're the blue square, and your objective is to fill up your inventory that is in your bottom right with different fruits. There are 5 different fruits: cherries, bananas, orange, watermelons, and mangoes. And mainly the whole point of the game is under collect. You can see 5 crosses, and that's where achievements go, and you are encouraged to get as much achievements as you can. So what we'll do is be implementing those achievements using a quest system. Okay, so do I go to the project now, or like I have the to-dos here, but
Yeah, sure. You can just keep that open, but go to the project and you change from one to the other. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it.
wait, is it?
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so I think I went a little bit overboard with context files, but the only ones that we will taking a look at are the quest manager modules, the header and the CPP, the scene module, and we will touch the app module, but just for the first to do.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to just okay, so I grouped the first to-dos because at first I had them separated, but I thought that the presentation would look a bit stupid to do it. The first to-dos is just to make sure that before doing anything, everyone really understood how the project is built, and if you I don't know if they are following or not with you can download the to-dos in my GitHub that I shared at the beginning of the presentation. And the first to-dos are just making sure you understood the structure I explained here, the basic structure of the quest manager and the object class quest, and also taking a look at how the syntax of the XML works. So you are you don't make any stupid mistake like I've done so many times in this research. Do I just leave like a few minutes for people to
maybe it's a bit difficult to follow, to do the exercises everybody right now this way, maybe you can explain the different to-dos and how you overcome every to-do.
I can just get the completed version.
Yeah, and explain it. I think it's nice.
I think that will be better. Okay. Then let me just.
It would be probably more illustrative for everybody, considering that it's a presentation in video. So.
Okay. Well, well, as I said, the first to-dos were just making sure you clearly understood the structure of the quest manager. It's really simple. It really only manages, well, it has the as most of. It's the project is based of how we've been working on project 2. So
Yeah, I see.
No problem. And it just has an awake. It manages the XML that we're gonna parse, and 3 different lists. I'm using the std stl libraries.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that's pretty clear. So the second to do. Okay, so as I was saying, all of the quest information, like there are many ways of doing this. You could do it like maybe with a binary file or something. I just chose the XML because even though I know you said you didn't really care for it,
It's okay. It's okay.
I know, but I just really thought that since it's what we've been working with for the past year, it's what.
Oh, yeah, it's okay, William. No problem.
So first of all, what the first real to do is create a function that that loads this file. So that's the only. Wait, am I in the right one? I think so. Yes. So here we have the function that we use to load the config file, and it's just exactly the same function, but instead of loading the config XML,
Yeah,
to
you load the quest data. Yeah.
It's nothing complicated. Okay. The third to do is, now that we have the XML loaded, and we're gonna have to start actually loading the quest that we have implemented using such XML, and we will also be using obviously the load quest function that we will just have created, and we will have to create a loop that creates a new quest for each time it finds a child.
Okay.
Quest. And that's how we handle that. Here, it merely just works as any parse we do with anything. We just create a node. Here we use the load quest to load the XML onto the file I showed before. Look, I forgot to. Well, it was in the presentation. I hope everyone could see how the XML works. So here we're doing the loop I was talking about. It just goes to all the quests. Here we're creating a new quest each time it goes to the loop, and we're assigning the different variables that we declared on the quest object to these quests, and therefore from the XML we can just touch as many and create as many quests as we want.
Why? Just a question. Why you are not doing that directly in the load quest method?
I started doing it that way, but I'm not sure honestly if it was a mistake. I had doubt when doing that, but it just felt more visual having it in this module than in the app. But that's because I started touching a lot of things in the app, and I just didn't want to mess it up, so I passed it in here. I don't think it made it more like less efficient. I'm not sure though.
Okay, can you go to the end of this method, the current method? Yeah. Okay, but here I think you should be deleting a quest node, right?
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, you are loading it and you are moving all the information for the nodes to the new quest.
Yes.
And yeah, you should probably just delete the quest node before the end of the method, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
never mind, continue.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I have moved all that logic inside load quest.
Okay.
So-
I'll look at that then.
You just send the XML file to the load quest, and load quest does all the hard work, and you already got the list of the quest. That's easy, I think. But never mind. Continue, please. Yeah.
I didn't go for so much efficient, but more like visual, because I really wanted to do visual. I guess that wasn't like the best strategy at the moment.
Okay,
Okay, so well, after doing to do 3, we will find that yes, we had our quest, but we weren't actually assigning them to any list. So that's why that's what we're doing here. We're doing a pushback onto the new quest, and there's a variable that's a trigger, and when it equals to 1, it means that this quest will be active as soon as the game starts. So we just push it back directly on the active quests, so we don't have to do it twice.
Just one side note again. Is it possible to have a quest that depend on other quests?
Yes. That's
Yes?
why. Yes.
Or requisites? Oh, but requisites is just an int.
Yes. That's what. Okay. So what I mentioned earlier about the system is because I started working on that, but I saw it wouldn't make it. So I tried making a version that would show the example and not implemented because it would have been like hard coded and I didn't want that here. So requisites is like the example for that.
For one
you,
quest, link it to another quest.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's do before we leave. Okay, so once we've done all to-dos from 0 to 4, we should have the base module working, and now we just need to implement it with the context.
Okay.
So here, this to-do was mainly to work with this right here, to just know that you have to iterate from beginning to end in the active quest list. So that's what I was just mentioning, that this is like, maybe you could call it a hotfix, I guess. That's what I'm looking to improve in a future version. This module, this function called check event would be like an event system, but as a function. What this does is it iterates all the
Right now it's not an event system.
No, it's not an event system.
Okay,
That's
you
why-
call it somewhere. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Continue.
and I also specified that on the website. I thought it would be unfair to call this an event system. So, so yes, as I was saying, it iterates all the active quests, and it just it checks each quest has like its conditions to be completed, and that's what it just waits for check them. And once it checks, what it does, it restarts the inventory, so you can complete other quests. And another thing that we had to do is once we had the loop implemented and working fine, we would find that we were leaving active quests as active quests, but it's implemented here. But to do 6 would be to do so, to do a pushback of the quest that has just been completed to the finished quest list and erase it from the active quest list.
Yeah.
So in that way we just
Why? Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Don't you think you are doing a bit of over engineering with the movement of quests from one list to another?
why?
I mean, you only want to know if the quest has been completed, right?
Yes.
And you already have a variable inside the quest class that defines if the quest has been completed.
Yes.
So why are you moving the quest from finished quest to active quest? From active quest to finished quest.
Because I'm not sure if that was the way to do it, but as I visualize it, now I have another iterator. This one iterates in the finished quest list, and it just checks, and those who are here, it draws the achievement. It does the function.
Okay, but actually it will be the same, just iterating over the quest list, the base quest list, and checking if the quest is completed. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Do
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So you're saying like maybe only doing like one list, for example?
Yeah. But okay. I mean, it's not bad, your design. It's just I always try to look for the easiest and simplest design. You
I
know?
think that as I was telling you earlier, since I kind of went blind here and followed a tutorial for another platform. Even though she explained really well, she structured everything really separated. I guess that's why it influenced me to do everything like parts. Like I see that the comments you're giving me is that I could be doing things in one place and I'm doing it in two. Like I'm doing it as two units, right?
Actually, that's general for everybody. I always recommend going for simplicity. Always, when you code, try to keep things simple. I know that you can be really good coders and you can know a lot of techniques, a lot of patterns, and a lot of ways of doing things. But my recommendation is always try to keep things simple, because if you find that at some point you need some more complex structure or some more complex design, you can implement it, but try to start always simple with the simplest solution, because usually it's the better, usually. And if you keep working on that and you see that you really have some requirements that require a more complex solution, you can implement it later. But my recommendation, it's a general recommendation, try to keep things simpler always. Just just a point for you all. Yeah, I can continue, Guilherme.
No, that was it. The final to do was just to look at that. So yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Can we see the program running or something at least?
I completely forgot. Okay, so for those of you who want to try, this is the
The final result. Yeah.
sorry. Oh. Okay, so I don't know what happens with the average FPS. I definitely touched something there, but the game itself, you're this blue guy. You can move in with WASD or with your arrows, and when it gets to a fruit, it eats it and it places it in your inventory. And the debug keys are just pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 gives you the fruit of that order. I just press 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. When it completes a row, it just shows that. And now, if you see here, under the O, an achievement has been unlocked. And yeah, if I do this with all of them, well, there's like different achievements. I don't I don't have to show all of them. But if you
Okay,
want,
and so the quest to complete, which is the quest?
Yes, so the quest to complete is fill up the inventory.
Okay.
That's the quest. And the thing is that the first 3 quests were based on difficulty.
Yeah.
And I implemented them at the beginning of the project, and then I couldn't really implement. I was late on the difficulty, so the first 3 are the same, and then there's the 4th one. You have to collect your inventory, but in order. You have to collect first 5 red ones, 5 yellow ones, 5 orange, 5 reds, and 5 yellow.
Oh.
And the last one requires you to have all of the other quests completed.
Okay, so all quests are related to completing all the inventory, right?
Yes, that's the main quest.
In different ways, but completing all the inventory.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you think your quest system could be applied for the RTS? Can you maybe explain us how to apply your quest system to the RTS for some specific quest?
Yeah, I really think, well, this quest system, as you saw, it was completely gather oriented. So
yeah,
since we all have to have resources in our game, it would definitely work on that. I was actually very close to having a decent event system, but with that, I think it could be very useful. And as well as it works for gather, like it's what I said on the beginning. The good thing about being able to group things is that it's as easy as adding a new behavior that's called kill. If, for example, you need the quest system to detect your player, your units killing someone, and you just would have to implement it like once, and then you have it. So I think it wouldn't be technically ready for them to use it, but I hope to keep working on it.
Well, Guillem, now you are the expert on quest systems. So all the projects have to implement several quests. Yeah. So if some group has some question, you are the person to ask about quest systems. You know that?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so is that all?
Yes, that I know.
So maybe question. Okay, please raise your hands for the questions if you have any questions. Raise your hands. Questions, please. Okay.
So they have-
Enrique, you can speak, I think. Yeah. Enrique? Enrique? Can you hear us, Enrique? Enrique, you can speak. Is your microphone working? We cannot hear you, Enrique.
I think you have to like press the mic or something.
The microphone in the top. Oh. Active again. Maybe the volume or something. Enrique. Okay, I think
Well, I guess
it's not working.
I can answer your question later on Discord if you want. I don't know.
No, well, Enrique, you can just write it down if
Yeah.
if it's not working, the microphone. Enrique? Oh, okay, okay. Here it is a question. Guillermo, that's a question.
I was just wondering, in the case that the question is more text from the target, if that would be also stored in the same way. Yes. Well, yes. If you here, if you take a closer look, the quest doesn't only have title; it also has description. And I added description literally only to show that if you were to need implement it with a dialogue system or something, that
That's it.
there not be restrictions. So yeah, like every quest has a title and a description. So yeah, no problem with that.
I will add that maybe we should wait for a tomorrow presentation about dialogue systems to see for another implementation and how to manage a dialogue system. So maybe the quest system and the dialogue system could be combined in some way later on.
Yes, yes.
The dialogue is made by Oriol. Well, yeah, what do you mean? Okay, we will see it tomorrow. No worries, really. We'll see it tomorrow. What will
Hi.
happen?
Ahora va.
Okay.
Enrique, is it working?
No, yeah, it's working now. I just had the wrong microphone selected. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. In the top bar where you have the microphone, you can choose between different microphones, I think.
Yeah, I was choosing the headphones microphone and it didn't work. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other question somewhere else? So somebody else? Yeah, dialogue is pretty important actually. Any other question, someone? No? Guillem? Something to say?
No, I guess thank you. Everyone was really had a good feedback. So, as I said, if anyone has any question about the quest system, I will gladly answer them.
Okay, that's good. Okay, claps, everybody, claps. Claps. Oh, there are questions.
Not in
Albert
English, though.
Espinosa. Albert Espinosa.
I think he meant to clap. No? Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay,
Stop sharing.
claps. Just some comments, Guillem. Well, the presentation was good. Just some doubts about the points you listed at the beginning, because then it seems you didn't go through those points. You listed some points at the beginning, but then you didn't go through that list, and it was a bit confusing for me. It was good. All the other points mentioned about the quest manager, about simplicity, linearity, capacity. It would have been great to see some visual examples on the quest manager and the quest system, but well, it's okay. And what was really, really nice, it's the code implementation that you share. Maybe it's not the best implementation, but yeah, it was a good work, and I really like it. And about the last question I asked you about how to implement that system in the RTS game, yeah, I think it can be used for some kind of quest about resource gathering, as you say, about gathering gold or wood or food or anything. So it has some implementation, some real implementation. And yeah, that's it. I checked the GitHub, and let's hope that it's useful for all the other students. Tomorrow we have we have two other presentations. We have the presentation about the dialogue system, that it's another important one. I'm not sure if I'm asking you for dialogues on your game, by the way, but it would be nice to have some dialogue, maybe. And yeah, another one that is very important is the particle system, and that's a very interesting one. I'm asking about dialogues. Let me check. Oh yeah, you got dialogues.
Mhm.
Very good. Well, don't worry about dialogues. They could be short dialogues, and hopefully tomorrow we'll see the dialogue system presentation. Yeah, that's it. Let's see tomorrow what we have. Do you have any question about the project or anything? As you probably saw, we already shared the vertical slice requirements. Do you have any question about that? Please raise your hands. Okay. Pau. Pau.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. Yeah, I wanted to ask. There's a line that talks about buildings.
Yeah.
And that they should have some basic functionality.
Yeah.
And it says something about upgrades, and I don't know if upgrades is referring to upgrading the actual building, or more like upgrading units, since in the parentheses it's talking about creating units. Well, if you look at the document,
Yeah, wait a second. Wait a second.
yeah, because it says buildings with some basic functionality, and then in parentheses it says create units and then upgrade slash boost. And I was just wondering if you meant like upgrading the building or you were still talking about units.
Actually, that line was written by Mark, so I didn't know exactly what he was referring to. But for me, any of both, it's okay. I mean, it could be about upgrading the building itself or upgrading units.
Okay.
So any kind of upgrade.
Okay, that's fine.
Just, I recommend you to try to go for the upgrade that it's easier for you to implement. Probably if you are already creating units, a unit upgrade, it's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, okay, it makes sense. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Any other question? Questions? No more questions. Okay, so if there are no more questions for today, just let's stop here and let's continue tomorrow. I think that tomorrow we must be here at 8:30 in the morning. Is that right? Who has a question? Questions? Okay. So I don't know what should we do now to close this. I don't know if the admin is doing something or yeah. Okay. I have a question. Miquel. Miquel, can you speak? Miquel, can you hear us? Miquel Quintana too? Miquel?
Okay, now you right?
Yeah, okay, Miquel. Let us know.
I was wondering, like a week has passed, and I think my presentation was for the 29th, I think. For the
Could
next
be.
week. So the presentation still remains the same day, or it has been changed because
I sent an updated calendar.
Oh, okay.
I share it in the campus.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if no more questions, I think we can stop now. Let's see how to do that. Let's see. Okay, the admin is saying something. Okay, wait. Okay, I think we just close and that's it. Okay, bye. Bye.